Hi everybody, it's Lace, and one of the things that first attracted me to this game when I very first started out, I think I spent the first week, well, after a couple days of being lost, I spent the next week messing around with the music that you could play in the game. Um, the files that you can use are .abc extensions or .mml, and these are just basically text formatted uh, files that play sounds in the game. Depending on your pledge level, you may have a piano like what's right behind me. You may also, if I hit C for character, you may have a lute in your bank. And then you can also craft pianos in game. You could craft a lute in game. You can craft a flute, a harp, a drum. So those are the instruments available. Getting the files and getting them in the appropriate directory is the first part to learning how to play. So I've talked about the instruments. I'm going to switch out to the file to my desktop and show you about where those files go. And there's lots of places you can download them. So give me 1 minute. Now, I did another video that talked about taking MMLs, breaking them up into band pieces. That's far more advanced. I'm going to show you some easy things, and that would be just, getting the ABC file that's already finished or the MML file that's already finished. So I went to Google, and you can see I typed in the search box ABC file download. A bunch of things came up. One of the sites was this one, and it's, you can just kind of scroll down. It's got quite a lot of songs. Also, if you look, they've broken it up for clarinet, drum, lute. So now you've almost got the pieces for a band. And I kind of talked about that before, is that you can hand a piece of music to each person. So you hand somebody the clarinet piece, you hand somebody the drum piece, you hand somebody the lute piece, and then when they all play it, they're each playing that instrument part of it. So some of it's already broken up here for you that you can just, download the 4, 3, 4, 5 pieces, whatever, hand them out to your friends and be able to play it. Now we're just going to take one that's, just a solo piece kind of, sort of. And so let's see, what do we got? We got bad all broken up. I'm trying to find one that's something. How about ABC? Jackson 5 ABC. I don't know. I'm on a Michael Jackson thing tonight. So if I click this on here, this is what an ABC file looks like. It's just all text. So I'm going to scroll down and I'm going to capture everything. And I, hit copy, Control C, copy. And in whatever kind of editor that I have, I'm going to paste it in. And you can see I've already kind of pre-pasted this in. Then I'm going to want to take and save this file. I can do a file save as. We're not going to do that right now because I want to show you where it needs to go. Where it needs to go is going to be where you've installed your game. So in my case, it's C, Program Files x86, Bordelarium, Shroud of the Avatar, then I'm going to Shroud of the Avatar Data, then Data as a directory, and Songs. And I'm just going to paste the songs in there. So you can see there's a bunch of songs here already. The thing to remember is, depending on the editor that you're using, some might want to save with like a text format or something. Just make sure that it's .abc, not .abcrtf or .abc.txt. Just make sure it just ends in .abc, and you'll be fine. So now we're going to switch back to the game and play one of these songs and go over that. So the sun's setting here in Diamond Fields. That's why the screen looks so orange. If you're thinking, oh my goodness, the quality of this game's so awful. No, it's just the sun's going down and I don't have a lot of lighting around me. So we've talked about where the songs go in your folder and stuff. And how do you know what songs to play? Well, you gave that song a meaningful name. And to bring them up in game, and you can kind of see I've already typed this once while trying to shoot this, but I'm going to type /playlist and hit enter. And then every song that's in that particular directory, it's basically doing, a directory scan there. Here they are. And, I've named mine according to my personal preferences. You can name them how you want. And here's all the songs that are currently in that directory. I kind of move things in and out and change things up here and there and stuff. But that's basically my playlist right now that I have loaded in. You may notice that it says blank sheet music. If I look at my inventory, I have some blank sheet music. And we'll get into that a little bit later. But these are the actual files, the physical files that are on my hard drive. and the songs they represent. Now, of course, I'm a huge Pat Benatar fan, and of course, the first song I ever even tried to play in this game was a Pat Benatar song. I did some arranging and octave changing, and this and that and the other, and converted a MIDI to MML. I didn't just download the text file and stuff because I can't do it the easy way. Oh no, had to do it the hard way, and I was trying to perfect the song and make sure it played pretty well. So if I look in here, the song I'm looking for is Heartbreaker. One thing to point out, if we look in here, there it is, Heartbreaker. You'll see it's a capital H, but guess what? Things are not case sensitive. So in order to play a song that's in your directory, and you can tell that it's there by hitting the backslash playlist to bring it up, I'm going to do backslash play, and I'm going to do Heartbreaker. And I didn't type it with a capital letter. Let me just verify that my sounds are up. Oop, master volume was down, see? Wouldn't hardly have heard it. Okay. So now you can hear like POT music going right now. That's going to be interrupted when I start playing an instrument. And I believe that's pretty much true if you're in the general area of a musician. The POT stuff or NPC town music or whatever will be lulled so that you hear the actual performance. As far as what the range is on somebody playing, it's not going to be as big as a village lot. I believe it's maybe smaller to a row lot. So if you're planning on having events like concerts and stuff, you kind of want to get your people to be scooched up towards the players. Otherwise, they're not going to hear it. So just something to keep in mind. And there currently isn't a way to adjust the range of a performance. So we're going to go ahead and hit enter and play this song. Now the way for me to stop playing is to, hit a movement key and stand up or something like this. Or while I'm sitting there, and even if I'm mid-stride in a song, so let's say, for those that don't know, Pat Benatar's married to a guitar player named Neil Giraldo. And Neil Giraldo, actually, he played with, like Rick Derringer and some other stuff before he got with Pat and before they got married. But he also happened to, in between they had like a, road tour going on in the early days. He happened to get a call from Rick Springfield where he spent 3 days writing this song for Rick Springfield. So yes, no. Pat Benatar's husband wrote pretty much Jesse's Girl. It's kind of, I had to play it on the lute because I happen to have a BC Rich signature Neil Giraldo guitar signed by Neil Giraldo. And so I had to do that on the lute, but I kind of like it on the keyboard. And this is just going to show you the variety of, depending on the instrument you use, the different ways a same song could sound from the same ABC or MML file. So again, to stop, I could just pick a new song. I kind of want to do Leather and Lace, but I don't remember if that one's very good. Let's pick one that I think's good. Oh, I know. This is for you people that are perhaps my age or so. You might remember this little band called The Partridge Family. Oops, maybe it's not going to play. Hold on one second. There we go. Now that may sound a bit like a harpsichord, and as you get more advanced and looking at something that somebody else has done in MML, you can do tips and tricks to kind of change octaves, maybe arrange things. That's a little more advanced than we're going to get into in this. So, we've covered playing music, changing instruments and stuff. One thing to note is the drum. Oh, the poor drum. It doesn't get a lot of love. I actually have one drum, and I can do one song. It's very hard to have a drum that's just the solo instrument. A lute, a flute, a piano. These can play most music pieces by themselves, but the poor little drum. I know I got one. Let's see. Where's my drum? Okay, character, tabor drum. In my particular range of music, and I'm sure in most of these that I did, I took the drums out, and so I don't have a piece that's specifically for drum, but I kind of was messing around, and I actually found one that wasn't too terribly bad, and that's the theme to Rocky, Gonna Fly Now. That didn't sound too terribly bad, but you're gonna see that you just can't quite. The drum is just. So as you know in your love of music, the poor drum isn't exactly usually the main focal point of any kind of band, but in playing that Rocky song, you could hear actually the rim taps, you could hear the snare part, you could hear the bass part. So those pieces are going to be in your musical group if you're done as a group. Now, of course, if you're playing it on, on the piano or something, you're not going to hear that. But if you put a band together, you're all grouped up, you all got the same pieces of music, but each piece of music is split by instruments. The drum is going to be an integral part. So don't leave out your drummers, okay? they're gonna set that tone, and that's what the drum does, of course. We've talked about how you put the files in there and stuff, but you can actually, if you've gone out and done all this work and gotten all these files and stuff and download them to your directory, you can also transcribe them to what's called sheet music. And if I look at my inventory and, well, take out the filter for drum there, I have some blank sheet music. These are going to work basically like blank sheets of paper. If I double click this blank sheet of paper, and this may be something you don't know about, and we'll probably cover this in a different video, but I can say I can now write on it. When I say write on it, I can give it a title. Now pretend we're doing this with sheet music, and the reason we're not doing this with sheet music is it's a little borked right now as at the end of R31. Expect them to fix it, but it will operate the same way. I talked to somebody named Merrick Dragon, and I want to give him big kudos because he kind of coached me through this. Blank sheets of paper and blank books right now I can get from booksellers. Two places I know offhand is going to be Exeter and also in Owl's Head. I'm sure there's others. And you can buy these books in paper. And you can go to this thing called a magic printing press. And I can take these, and again, we'll cover this a little more in a different video, but basically I can mass produce things. But let's pretend I'm just trying to do one thing. I come in here and let's pretend this is sheet music instead of blank piece of paper, because again, blank piece of paper, if I double click that just to show you what I'm saying, see how this comes out, and I should be able to do things with it, but when I click stuff, yeah, it's not working. So anyway, we're just going to pretend that this is a blank sheet of music just to show the concept. So right here I would put the title, and I would call this, like, let's pretend it's my Pat Benatar song. I'm going to call this Heartbreaker. Heartbreaker. Font, I don't think that's going to show up in music, but I'd say continue. And then in here, if I had I don't know if I still have this on my clipboard or not. Nope. That was the Discord channel. That's not going to work for us. If I had all that stuff that we'd done from our clipboard, from getting it from another site, we could paste it in. Let me pause out and grab that to clipboard real quick. Okay, I got this on my clipboard. Let's pretend that this was a blank sheet of paper. I would hit Control V, and it's pasting in all the stuff. Now, sheets of paper have a limit as to the number of characters that can fit on them. I don't know that blank sheets of music have that same limit, but obviously a blank sheet of paper, it only goes this far. The actual, all this, notation is much longer than that. I'm going to assume blank sheets of paper have, a little bit longer length. In games like Arcade and stuff, you had to get a proficiency. You could only scribe 100 notes, 200 notes, 300 notes. That's not very fun. To take forever to be able to do something as wonderful as play music. I really hated that about that game. But anyway, we'd be able to do this. We have this blank sheet of paper, and if I publish this, I'm just going to do it because I just used my just for demo. I'm going to hit publish, and I'm going to say yes, I want to publish it. And now, if I look in my inventory, I believe we now see Heartbreaker. So the title that you give the song, and this would work for a blank sheet of music if that was functioning right at this second. So now the song title is what people could see. I could take this, I'm just going to close out of here. I could take this and put this on my vendor, and I think it'll say something about sheet of music or something perhaps more descriptive, because we just did this on a paper, not sheet music. The other thing is you could mass produce this using a printing press. So if I grabbed out, again, we're pretending this is a blank sheet of music. I grab some paper out of here, and I'm going to throw it in my inventory, and I go into the magic printing press. And again, we'll cover this more in depth, but I could take and I could put in Heartbreaker, right? And then I could say blank. I want to look for my blank paper. I don't want sheet music, I want paper. But we would be doing this with sheet music, and I hit the craft button, and now I have 5 copies of that. So that's what the printing press does. So I hope that kind of covers sheet music. The other thing to keep in mind about sheet music is you have to craft it right now. You can get the recipe for crafting sheet music from various vendors. There's one right by the Adventure Trainer in Owl's Head, kind of one I showed you in the tutorial for crafting recipes. You can filter by sheet and get it, but it's basically just wood pulp and some thread. And the odd thing that's going to sound is you make it on a tailoring station. So it's, so much, I don't think I have any wood pulp or stuff to show you, but you would make the thread on here. It's a basic recipe. You would make the wood pulp on the milling station, and then you use those 2 things and come over here to the tailoring station to make the sheet music. Now, because sheet music is now craftable, and we used to be able to get books and blank sheets of paper from the booksellers, and they've talked about, removing things that are, so many things that are vendor bought and making them all craftable. It's quite possible that sheet music, blank sheets of paper and books may go there. Kind of out of the scope of this video, but I just want to mention that may be something that's happening that I kind of discovered in having to learn how to make sheet music before doing this video. So, absolutely expect me to update this video probably as some things get changed. And we're going to sign off here with, I love this song on the piano. You may recognize it. It's Natalie Merchant / aka 1000 Maniacs, Because the Night, which is actually a cover of an old Patti Smith song. Not Patti Smythe the Warrior, but Patti Smith. And I just want to say to everybody, happy hunting, be safe, and take care.